Good morning, bed heads. Click. How you doing today? Bed, B-E-D. Everybody thinks I say butt heads. Hi, Karen from Ask the Spirit Guides. This is Coffee with Karen, hence the bed head, because I have coffee with my bed head. Don't you love this mug? I love it so much. So cute. I hope you're doing well today. So, I made it through my 56th birthday celebration, which is pretty much just with myself. However, I spent a lovely day with a good friend of mine who brought me those flowers and that balloon. And we went and saw a psychic, and she was amazing. Um, and I bought some crystals in the store that I was at with, where we went to see the psychic. And it was delightful. And we went out to dinner and it just was really fun. I got home, I was totally exhausted because from the time I had woken up, like I was like on Coffee with Karen, and then I did another video for the Spirit Circle, and then I had rush to get ready for the day. So I'm not used to that much activity, to be honest. So I got home and just vegged last night, basically. But so today's Coffee with Karen, I'm going to be honest, every once in a while, well, it's probably always this way, but I am going to be all over the place today. I just have like these little snippets of things like I want to mention, but not like a general theme today. Usually I try to have a general theme. So I do have a message from the our spirit guides today. It's an interesting one. Every day it's interesting. I don't know. This one might be verifiable, but we'll see. Um, and we'll do an oracle reading at the end. So, with the energy oracle cards, this is the one that bounced or popped out of my deck. So, energy oracle. And I'll show you the little crystals I got. We're going to talk a little bit about birth charts and human design. It's so fascinating. And some other things. So, anywho, just a quick reminder that my birthday sale, so I was 56 yesterday, our mug shop slash, now we have pins and buttons and magnets. Pins and buttons, those are the same thing. Stickers, pins, and magnets on some of the designs. And this is one of them, which is, I just love this. Everybody is welcome here, just so you know. Even those who voted for F45. You might not want to be here, but you are absolutely welcome here. Um, I mean, it just depends on what your beliefs are right now. So, um, yeah, so 40% off of our shop. I will put the shop right there. And 56% off of my Myers-Briggs personality type course that I did with another really good friend of mine. We were colleagues for a super long time, and she's quite the expert. I mean, she is the expert in the MIT Myers-Briggs. So we actually did it together. So you're going to get me and somebody else in the course. And so that's 56% off, and then 56% off in both of my Etsy shops. So I will list everything below. So that will be until the end of today. Okay. All right. So a bunch of stuff on my mind. I got home last night and I stumbled across a YouTube channel of a psychic. And honestly, she's so interesting to listen to. She is so interesting to listen to. She tells like this whole story, and they're all nefarious stories, basically. Like the one I started with was about Gene Hackman. And then, I mean, I just went down a rabbit hole. Um, what's the next? I mean, there's just so many of them. Um, I'm trying to think. Like, I just started listening to Colby Bryant. There's just so many of them. Anyways, but the thing is, is that like I think she's doing them because there's like story behind the story. You know what I mean? Like what we really know about. Oh, I just listened to one on Twitch. Stephen Boss Twitch or whatever. He was on Ellen. He was like the MC on Ellen. Loved him. And he passed a couple years ago, unalived himself, supposedly. Well, if you listen to what was her name? And I'm not even actually encouraging you to. Like, I need to stop listening to it. It's Sloan, Sloan. I'm not going to list it below. Bella, Bella. So Sloan Bella. She's really, really good. Like, very interesting to listen to. And sounds just like she is really understanding what's going on behind these stories. But I have to say, like, this is why I wanted to bring it up because like, you know how all the stuff we've been talking about with F-45 and Muskrat and all that, like that is low energy, right? But the stuff Sloane's talking about is like low, 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 dark, dark energy, like darker. I just feel like all of a sudden, like I have this like perspective of the stuff we're talking about on a even like the Rasputin stuff, and it's not as dark as this stuff is. Like that stuff, the whole trafficking thing seems to be like a huge, I don't know. I don't want to spend my energy in there, but I have to say like my ego is like so curious, just like I mean, it's and she is an interesting storyteller, but I have to say like I don't know. I wouldn't go there. I You're like, well, why did you tell me about it? Because now I'm curious, right? I think I'm telling you about it because it's just an awareness because we all do these kind of things, right? On a day-to-day basis, we find ourselves in situations, we find ourselves having conversations, we find ourselves watching certain things. And I didn't know how I was going to feel until after I had watched a couple, right? And so you can start, if the more intuitive you get, the more, well, you don't even have to be intuitive. You know, we all know, like I have been feeling these feelings my entire life. You know how you just feel like you have to go like scrub off, and like inside you're just like, oh, that just feels so, oh, it just feels so heavy. And, like I need to cleanse myself, clear myself. You know what I'm talking about? Like so I just realized like I just picked up on that. Like I didn't know when I first started watching her that, I thought it was going to be an interesting story. But I'd almost like that kind of stuff. I'm not aware of the depths of that kind of stuff that goes on in our society. And when I become aware of it, it feels it's just not something I want to be aware of. But it's like it's that whole balance of being aware of something. Can you make a change in something? How much do you want to be aware for protecting your life and all that? I don't know. It's very interesting. It's interesting to pay attention to energy, is where I'm kind of going with this. And all of a sudden, I felt like, wow, the stuff we're talking on here about the F-45 and all that, that's not, it doesn't feel as dark. It just doesn't feel, it's dark, but it doesn't feel as dark as like what Sloan is kind of uncovering. So I don't know. Listen to a few and let me know what you think if you want to. I mean, they are again, they're interesting. Holy crap. But it's like, does anyone just in that whole like, and she's kind of doing celebrity stuff, like real kind of mystery stuff. But does anyone just pass away like normal? Does anyone in that area just have a normal life? I mean, but again, soul contracts, all that kind of stuff, comes into play. I am really, 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 really glad that we are going into the fifth dimension because I think we should be done with this 3D. It's just not working. It's not working. It's not working. It just isn't working, you know. Um, I don't know. I don't know why any soul would want to come down here and have the experiences that the dark, 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 dark is offering. I don't know why is that something, why does that experience, is that the only thing that evolves? Like why is that an evolution thing? So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that, you know, the 5D, there's like 10% of me, the five, that I'm always going to be a little skeptical of the 5D until I see it, you know. I have to say though, I can tell my energy is shifting when I use the pendulum, mostly this one. So I've been using the one that I got from someone in a community, which is so lovely. So this one, okay, I've been using this one on a regular basis when I do the readings for the channel. But every once in a while, well, Lucy likes to play with this one. Well, she likes to play with this one too, but when that one knocks her in the face, it's a little heavy. So, and she likes to try to put it in her teeth, so I have to be careful. But anyways, when I've been using this one, I have to say, like, I can tell my energy shifting. I actually can feel some really heavy, and it's not dark, it's just dense energy. And this thing will like, it'll like hang out like up here. It'll just like hang out. It's really bizarre. Like I can tell it's just like holding, I don't know how to explain it. So I can, something kind of cool is happening with my energy and working with the spirit guide. So, um, anywho, so yeah, so energy is a really interesting thing. And it's something that, I haven't really thought about most of my life. I've always known that I've had feelings and reactions to things, but it's like an energy, it's coming to an understanding of how powerful we are and what we attract and what we send out and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, I'm telling you, like this F-45 stuff, it feels like a piece of cake now. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let me just show you a few. Okay, so I got a little set of, well, they're not little. Well, they're kind of little, but of amethyst. I just could not. Okay, this store that I go to is in Oregon, Wisconsin. Okay, it's called Peaceful Heart. Okay, and okay, so there's a lot of other stores in small towns around here. Okay, and I like all the stores, but a lot of a lot of the stores will just fill up with, some of it's really good and then the rest of it's like, okay, it's okay. But if I'm going to buy them at this point, like you only have so much space, right? So you want things to be like special. If you're going to have it on your shelf, that's how I feel. Like there's only so much space that I have, and I don't want just a whole bunch of mediocre things. To me, what's mediocre to me, like you might look at this and go, well, that's mediocre to you, but you know what I'm saying? But this store in particular always has really nice, like the buyer there it's just really quality stuff. And it's good quality and really pretty stuff that it moves faster. So it doesn't collect dust on the shelf. You can tell it hasn't been sitting there for years. You know what I mean? So anyway, so they had a bunch of these. She just came back from the Tucson Rock and Minerals show. So she had a bunch of these. Can you believe that this this is inside of that? I mean, it's incredible. Our earth is incredible. I mean, seriously. Anyway, so there's that one. And then so she had like a whole set of them. And here's the other one. The reason I loved these is because they left some of the original stone there and polished it. Okay, so here's the original unpolished. And then this is the original. It's probably not as pretty online or on camera. See all the different, okay, and this one is my favorite. So I just got a little set of 3. Look at this one. And it's like a little flat and it looks like a star. The way they did that. Isn't that cool? And they just polished everything that came off that's around the entire, except for the back. Okay, so that's not polished. Isn't that cool? Anyway, so this is my little birthday present I bought for myself. They were like $20 each. They really weren't. Amethyst, I find, is not as expensive as some other things. So, anywho, that's what I bought yesterday. I have my last March 30th. I went to a psychic. It was a different one at the same store. And then this March 30th, I went and I had a different psychic. Both were great. I have both of them recorded. I started listening to the one yesterday morning and I ran out of time from last year. It was like the first time I'd listened to it. And I thought, oh my gosh, it was really cool. So what I'm going to do is listen to both of them now, and I'll share some morning on Coffee with Karen. So they were, I mean, both of them were like just totally spot on. It was kind of cool. So, and in fact, the one that I met with yesterday is the same woman that I met with to do um, a what did she call it? She called it human design, and I think it's a little different than the birth charts. So Faye, what's your last name? Wells, I think. Faye, hi Faye. So Faye, a member of our community, so generous with her time. And for me, okay, this is one of her own drawings. How beautiful is that? So she has sent me this little packet of my birth chart. Okay. And there's all different sections of it. I'm still reading through it. And I'm hoping to, Faye, let's get you on by the end of this week, we're hoping to have our business directory, small business directory for the community ready. There will be a fee because we have to, for our time and advertising, because we're going to be advertising. But I want to get Faye, I want to get you on here to thank you for all your time on there. Okay. If you want to be. Okay. So, there's a section in here, and I'll just give you an example. So the birth chart seems to be different than human design, because what the psychic was working with me yesterday is she went over a little bit of human design. Like she looked at my human design as part of my session yesterday and told me what my year ahead was going to look like. And she was spot on. I mean, everything she said, well, she told me like what things are happening, and I can just see everything that she was mentioning. And even my friend, we sat in each other's sessions. She was like, oh my gosh, she couldn't believe like everything she said about me. My friend was like, she was so accurate. And I felt the same way for her. Like she didn't see it in herself as much when her session, because I was back there giggling because I was like, yep, that's Jenny, Hi, Jenny. I won't say your last name. So anyways, one of the sections in the birth chart, I like both of it, the human design and the birth. It's just, I can tell they're different because a birth chart, it looks like this, and the human design chart is different. So it's a different process. I'm not really sure. There probably are people here who know the difference. And if you want to put it in the comments, that'd be amazing. But let me just read you a section of the birth chart. And this is the kind of stuff that is so helpful. Okay. And I want to sit with some of this stuff. And when we do the shadow work in the spirit circle coming up this month, then this is the kind of stuff I want to look at. Okay. Because I think it's interesting that especially if you do some shadow work, meaning, stuff that's just needs to kind of come up from you and be dissolved, or things that have been trauma, that kind of stuff, or maybe there's generational trauma that is something in you that you're like, I don't even understand why I feel this way because nothing's happened to me in this lifetime, but it may have come from other lifetimes. Then, but understanding your birth chart can help you release some of these things. And sometimes you don't have any control because that is how you were born. That is what you came in under. Okay. So I just think it's like one more piece of the puzzle to help understand ourselves. All right. So this was very interesting. So Neptune, and I don't even really understand like Neptune and all that, but in the fourth house, I mean that it's not, it's important to people who do birth charts and astrology, but not as important to me. Okay. I like the big picture stuff. Okay. So she has in here Neptune in the fourth house of home, family, and roots. Okay. So Neptune is in my fourth house for home, family, and my roots. Okay. So it's just this is the kind of stuff you can learn about yourself. So Neptune in your fourth house means, so this is for me, okay? And I think when my sister Marcia listens to this, she probably will I don't know, Marcia, let me know what you think, okay? Means you grew up in an environment of mixed messages. Maybe the rules weren't clear or they kept changing depending on the day, the mood, or who was in charge. Maybe you were told one thing, but people's actions said something else. I'm very sensitive to that. Very. That I call out bullshit so fast on that. And I don't know if that's from this experience or because it's in my birth chart. I'm not sure. It could have felt like the truth was always just out of reach, like you had to read between the lines to understand what was going on. And as a kid, you absorbed all of it. That's what children do. When the messages are inconsistent, you adjust and adapt rather than question. But Neptune in the fourth makes it tricky to separate reality from conditioning. It's like growing up in a house where the emotional weather was sunny one day and stormy the next, but nobody told you to grab an umbrella. So you learn to sense the shifts, pick up on the unspoken, and adjust accordingly. So just that one little section gives so much information about what some of your shadow work might be, or why help you understand just so much about yourself, you know? So if you haven't done anything like that, I'd encourage you to look into that. And, as part of just self-discovery and as part of your spiritual journey, you know? So, like I said, in our small business directory, which will be free for everyone to access in the public channel, there'll be a small fee for people to add their information to it. Okay. We're hoping to come out in like this coming weekend, like after this weekend or maybe 2 weeks. Okay. So, cause I'm really excited because there's so many gifted people here in this community and doing a lot of spiritual stuff, jewelry and mugs and just handmade things. And I just think it will be really fun, especially now with everybody wanting to buy more local or buy from small businesses. Well, this is a way where you can support our community here. Okay. And we're going to, talk about that list a lot and let people know about it. And so anyways, I mean, there might be people who do readings and then you can support somebody, and maybe you don't know anybody who does psychic readings, but you can support somebody from the community then. Okay, so that's that. A couple things. Does anybody watch? I always have to look. Is it Cliff Cash or Cash Cliff? I think it's Cliff. I always have to check. It's Cliff. Okay, Cliff Cash. So I really am enjoying paying attention to him. He's kind of toned down his brassness a little bit. That's okay. He's very serious and very determined about what he's doing. But he's really teaching me about how to go about this whole persistence with the F-45 situation. Okay. Or let's just say fascism. Okay. Authoritarianism. Okay. And so he's got some short clips recently where he's really helping me understand how to be a good civic community member. Is that the right way to say it? I don't know. Anyways, one of the things he said recently was fighting fascism. So we're going to say persisting against, well, whatever. We're going to say, he says, fighting fascism is our part-time job or our hobby. Like fighting fascism right now should be our hobby. It should be our part-time job. And because if it's not, then it could unfold that way unless there's some intervening, which is kind of what we've been told there's going to be. Apparently it's on its way. Support is coming. Isn't that what they said yesterday, the SGs? Did you guys catch that? I don't know if everybody stayed till the end of my little birthday celebration yesterday. If you don't stay till the end, I just said, it's not like I'm holding you hostage to wait for messages, but I just that's just the order I've been doing it in. So the pendulum message, yes. Oh, I don't even know. Oh yeah. Help is coming. Help is coming. So that was the pendulum message. I have one for today too, from who ICC. So, That's interesting. But I really kind of liked the idea of him helping with some structure, saying, you know what, this should be your hobby right now. This should be your hobby right now. And that's why I like talking about it a little tiny bit every day here to one, it encourages me, and two, just to know that we're all together here doing that. So just give that some thought. Let me know what you think about that. Part-time job might be a little much, but for some people who can do it, and everybody's doing it differently. Everybody's doing it differently. Now, one thing he did say that helped me understand how protests, postcards, calls, emails, and all that kind of stuff works, because you kind of wonder, well, does it work? Is it worth my time? Whatever. And basically what he reminded me of is when we do that and it swells. So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? You want it to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Every time the protests, each time. So now the next one is April 5th, this Saturday. Okay, so look on 5051. FIFT. I'll post it below, 5051. You can put in there to see put your city that you're in and see what is happening. Okay. This past Saturday, there was the Tesla protests. And Hawk, who I listen to, again, if I talk about stuff below, I'll put Sloan down below too. If I talk about different channels, I will post them in the description. But Hawk, he showed a video. He was in San Francisco at the Tesla protest. It was huge. It was huge. There were so many people there. So what Cliff says is that if it continues to swell, which is why the more and more people who show up, the more we keep making those phone calls. I know you're probably like, oh my God, I've been making phone calls for 3 months, or 2 months. It's only been January, February. It's January to February. It's been 2 months. Okay. So the more we do that, what it is doing is showing those in power that we have their back. That's how they then get courage to stand against it, is when they see how many people care about this, then they start to care about it. You know what I mean? So I think that's really important for us it was a good little reminder for me just to keep going, keep moving on, whatever you're inspired to do in your new hobby of fighting fascism. Persisting. See, even saying against, but persisting in our work not for fascism. I can't even, it's so hard to change the wording to make it a little bit more positive. So if you guys have ideas, let me know. Okay. So I have this interesting thought. I watched a 2-minute clip on Muskrat in Green Bay, Wisconsin yesterday, giving away $1 million to 2 people. Okay. And he had said on there, the reason he's doing, and this actually makes logical sense to me. He said he's up on stage and he's waiting he announces the person and he's waiting for the person to come and get their big check, have a picture with him. And he said the reason he's doing this is because legacy media, mass media, goes nuts over it. Like actually criticizes it or like just goes nuts that he's giving away $1 million. And he says they get so much attention from it, from media, that it's so much cheaper to give 2 people $1 million and get attention that way than to pay media for it. So that's what he said. He was just very logical about it. He's like, the thing is I was watching that, and this is allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, because I don't have any facts, although I did ask the SGs, but I'm watching this, right? And he announces both names. Like he announces the name and he starts walking this way. And then he announces the other name. Like he knows where the person is. There's no, There's no like screaming out. Like if somebody announced that you just won $1 million, would you not like have a reaction? There's nothing. There's like no reaction from the guy over here. He comes up on stage and he's like holding the big check and he's like this. And I'm like, and then they announced the next woman and then it was a woman. They announced her name. I don't hear any screaming. I turned it off at that point. I didn't wait for her to come up. So I don't know how she was reacting. Maybe she was reacting, but I didn't hear any screaming. And Leon Muskrat started walking towards the other side of the stage as if he knew right where she was even before they announced it. And I thought, they're not giving away $1 million. They're not. I just thought that you know how they always say like paid actors show up for, you know why they say it is because that's what they do. And I'm like, they're not giving away $1 million. There's no way. How would those people not react? You could tell that they were just like, oh yeah. I don't know. I'll put the clip below. You let me know what you think. I did ask the SGs and they told me no, they are not giving away $1 million. Allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. So I don't know. I thought those little scrounges. Okay, well, that's what I got for you today. Let's look at the message. So you guys heard that there was a boom in Russia. And this is even I haven't really looked totally into the story, and I want to go on ground news to look at both, like what's really going on. But I find it interesting because apparently one of Rasputin's, they have a fleet of cars that drive just like we do. Well, if they really wanted to get somebody, why wouldn't they just do all the cars at the same time? I don't know. So one car did, but they are reporting that he was not in that car. Okay. So I asked the SGs today for a pendulum message and they spelled it out for me on the pendulum map. Okay. So using this. Okay. So they spelled it out for me. Okay. And this is what they spelled out. Entertainment purposes only. So why it's not like I asked for a message about this. I didn't say, oh, tell me about this, So if you're wondering, if you're just listening to this and not looking, they basically spelled out Rasputin, but Putin is unalived, but they spelled it DEAD. So I don't know. So let's see what really happens. Would they really tell us the truth is the question, at least right now. So if you happen to see one right now, it could be a double, you know what I mean? Until they're ready to because I'm assuming that if this happened, they would have some organizing to do before they made it public. So that's kind of interesting, huh? A little inside scoop, I guess, to what's going on. Okay, so again, the SGs wanted me to use this deck to pull a card for us today. I feel like we just used this one. I think we did. All right, so let's see what's going on. What message do they want us? The last day of March, which means I need to start get the messages for April. I'm excited to do that. Using the pendulum, I will get messages for April. I think I'm going to try to ask them to make them bigger messages and give us 6 because 9 was a little much. I felt like 9 was a lot of messages for March. And then what I want to do is go over the March messages I'll go over those in Coffee with Karen this week sometime. Okay. Because it's really fun to look back. That's why I like looking back at these, the psychic meetings I had. It's way more looking at the one I had yesterday is not as much fun. If I listened to it today, it's way more fun to listen to it a year from now because you can be like, whoa, So all I know is it was extremely positive. And I'm not, they're not, she wasn't always positive about everything, but my year ahead was extremely positive. I'm like, oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. So yeah, so this is my, she just said this is the kind of year I'm in. So, okay. So I've got 4 cards in front of me. So I close my aura to all but my higher self, the God consciousness, my guides and guardians, and all of those of the purest and highest light. And I ask Archangel Michael to please protect this channel, the channel that we share here together, and this channel, so it is only of the purest and highest light. Amen. Good morning. Morning. Hi. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the video about orbs, check it out. I will post it right here. I just did it last night. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. I enjoyed it a lot, learning all of your questions that you guys had. Okay, so is the message you want us to have in front of me right now? Yes. Is there anything from the deck you want me to pull? No. Okay. So let's start on the right. The first card? Yes. The second card? No. The third? And the fourth? No. So just the first card. All 4 of those cards jumped out of the deck together. So sometimes they do that because it's just easier to get that card out. Especially on a deck. This deck is a little slippery, but kind of sticks together because of that. It's like plastic. Kind of sticks together. So let me just see if this has a reverse. Okay, this one does have a reverse. So I'm going to see how it came out. Okay, this one is reversed. Okay, so, oh. All right, so this is the message reversed. So this is the message reversed. Number 47, the thinking woman. Okay. The thinking woman, number 47. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's an 11, and we don't reduce double digits, so it is an 11 card. Okay, the thinking woman, but it was reversed. Okay, so do you see anything reversed? So this is a message for all of us today. So let's see. Even men, even though it says the thinking woman. Let's see. Female of wisdom or understanding. So let's see what the reverse is. I don't know if the reverse is going to be that great. We'll see. All right. This card reverse could represent a difficult time for your own personal growth. You may be feeling confused about your personal purpose or disconnected from your heart's true path. Look within and open up to your own inner guidance. Trust your intuition about what you need to learn in order to move on. The thinking woman reversed could also indicate a woman who is misleading you or giving you misinformation of some sort. I hope that's not me. But you got to use your intuition, okay? Be aware and set boundaries. Remember, your own spirit is always your best guide. Absolutely, 1,000%. I love that because that's what, if you're new, you've stumbled across this channel, that's our tagline is basically follow your own, learn about yourself, to follow your own intuition, to answer your own questions. The questions we always have, like I went to a psychic yesterday. I didn't go to a psychic with questions, okay? I went to a psychic because it was fun and I just wanted to see kind of what she would tell me, okay? I left it open. But sometimes I do, sometimes I would go. But my goal here and for myself, because I don't always do this, and I'm facilitating these conversations so that we can start to trust our own intuition. You don't have, the answers are all inside of you. You don't need anybody to tell you the answers. And that's a work in progress, basically. That's something that we have to learn because we're used to people telling us what to do. when we were born, we needed people to tell us what to do. So we understood the boundaries, right? But it was their boundaries. So now we have to figure out where our boundaries are and listen to our own inner truth. But that's so hard to do because society has told us they have the answers for us. Okay. And so that's really the goal of this channel. I don't have the truth for you. You don't have the truth for me. We are here to help each other discover our own truth. Okay. That's one of the reasons why in the comments, I love when people share their stories, share their wisdom in a way that's not, this is the only way to look at it, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe that there is only one way to look at anything. And so I just encourage everybody when you're sharing something to say, this is where I'm coming from. This is what I've learned, so that people then who read that can tell if it's right for them. Okay. But every once in a while, somebody will leave a comment that says like, well, that's not right. It's like, yeah, it is. How I look at something is right, and how you look at something is right. Okay. So, and how I look at something may be wrong, and how you look at something may be wrong. It may be both. Okay. So there's just gray all over the place. Okay, so anyways, the thinking woman reverse could also indicate a woman who is misleading you or giving you misinformation of some sort. So is that something in your life? Okay, be aware and set boundaries. Remember, your own spirit is always your best guide. And I think in my bullet journal, I have a section. You guys know I like to use this bullet journal. I always have it listed below in the description. People often ask where I got this bullet journal. I'm actually we're very close to getting our own bullet journal. I've designed it so that I actually created it for me, but we'll put it where you guys can buy it if you want to. But one of the sections, because I have a real structured way of doing this now, so I just thought, well, I'll just print my own, and have it bound. But one of the sections I have is highest spiritual perspective. And yes, I am missing the S right there. Somebody pointed that out to me, and I just haven't changed it because I can't. I could put S right there, but I might. Or just leave it as an imperfection. So I'm going to add that little point of wisdom to my highest spiritual perspective is, remember, your own spirit is always your best guide. To me, that's the best part that's what resonates with me in this reading. I don't feel like right now there's anybody trying to mislead me or give me misinformation. And I don't feel, I just don't resonate with the rest of it. So I'm going to put, remember, your own spirit is always your best guide. The affirmation is, I open my heart and mind to my own inner wisdom. I am thoughtful, focused, and clear. I am thoughtful, focused, and clear. Okay? Reversed. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed, that would be amazing. We're almost at 46,000. Thanks, you guys. You're so amazing. And if this was helpful, if you could give it a thumbs up. It just helps us grow the channel to reach more people, to become a part of this community, which makes it richer. It just makes it richer. We can learn more and more from each other. So, all right, well, have an amazing day, and maybe I'll see you tonight at the 7 p.m. premiere. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.